want any recruiter to know is that I'm so much more than just my resume.
Lol. Come on. We both know that all these recruitment platforms are only designed for the companies to get what they want.
They don't care about candidates like us. Not all, buddy. Have you heard of TAG?
Karan Roy, data scientist. Tag score 96%. Interesting.
That's me. And thanks to TAG, now she knows all about my functional, behavioral, technical, and all other relevant skills. TAG indeed is a game changer for me. When I signed up for it, it created this structured, validated, and enriched profile mapped across my numerous skills, knowledge base, and work experience, and created a score. My TAG score. The score and profiling help me present my best professional version to any employer. They can easily find what they need, and if I'm the right fit, my profile shows up instantly. This way, TAG not only helps candidates like me land their dream jobs, but also figure out where they stand amongst their peers, and also identify the areas they need to work on.
Wow, this is just the kind of candidate I need. I like how detailed his profile is. Should I even interview this guy?
See, this is how TAG is bringing clarity, communication, and dignity back for us candidates. It also gives me an access to a community of peers, career circles, thousands of jobs, and marquee employers like her to further aid my career growth.
Are you kidding me? Did you just get hired within minutes?
A very good evening, friends. Am I audible and visible, everyone? Am I audible and visible? Okay, a very good evening, friends, and a very warm welcome to each one of you for the tagged Career Circles Live 7th episode. And thanks so much for joining us. My name is Anshuman Srivastava, and I'll be your host for today's session. Career Circle, ladies and gentlemen, are exclusive talent communities by TAG, where talented professionals like yourself can interact with the best of recruiters, the most talented professionals, industry leaders, experts, so on and so forth, and exchange views. It's a forum for all of us to get together, interact, engage, and get more knowledgeable about the area of our operations. And Career Circle Live is an edition of these conversations which are open, where, like it is happening now, we get on a platform and we interact with the best in the industry and set up conversation with professionals like yourself. That's what the entire initiative of Career Circles is all about. Without much ado, I think I'd like to get started on the 7th episode of the Career Circle, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome our talent leaders and business leaders from Mahindra, one of one of the world's leading automobile manufacturers, to this session today. Our topic for discussion today is careers in the electric vehicle or e-mobility space with Mahindra. And without any further delays, let me quickly welcome my guest to the session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pankaj Sonalkar and Abhimanyu Sen. Pankaj Sonalkar is the Chief of Electric Vehicle with Mahindra and Mahindra Electric Vehicle Technologies, a seasoned techno-commercial professionals who've been with Mahindra and has been instrumental in bringing up Mahindra up to the curve in the electric vehicle space. Pankaj, warm welcome to you to this session.
Thank you very much, Anshu. So nice of you.
We also have Abhimanyu Sen from the HR team in Mahindra, Senior General Manager with Mahindra Electric Vehicle Business, more than 20 years of talent acquisition and human resource experience. And I'm sure he knows a lot about talent and how cutting edge technology talent is to be hired, nurtured, and retained. Warm welcome, Abhimanyu, to this session.
Thank you, Anshuman, and look forward for an exciting conversation in next 1 hour.
Absolutely. I'm thoroughly excited and looking forward. I'm sure. So all of us there are. And again, thank you so much. And let's get started. What is EV essentially? Electric mobility today is one of the most talked about concepts. And as we focus, while Mahindra does so much amount of passenger and commercial mobility, which is non-electric also, but our focus of our conversation is future, and that's what we will be discussing today. And before we get started, why don't we get to know a little bit more about what's the Born Electric and what's electric vehicles in Mahindra is all about. LM, why did you put up the quick AV that we had created for everybody to see?
We running on the streets. We going for the race. We the best. Let's cut to the chase. We go for electric is the craze. Live big, just feel the space. Jump in on the base. We go for We go, we fly, we love, we ride. All you desire. We go for we go. We go for we fly. We go for we fly. We go for we electric. We go. We go for we go.
Thank you, LM. Thoroughly exciting and exhilarating. This was all energy and all excitement. Thank you so much, Pankaj and Abhimanyu, for putting this up. So, what do we do in the next 40 to 50 minutes? We bring forward a lot of conversations around careers in electric vehicles and e-mobility. And we'll keep asking questions, and we look forward to all the answers from Pankaj and Abhimanyu. This is going to be an interactive session. So all participants, if you have any questions or observation or points to ask for or put up, just put them in the chat window, and I'll request my co-host Elim to please help us moderate those same. And here's the catch. Here's the exciting part. If your questions are loved by our guest, which is Pankaj and Abhimanyu, and you're among the best 4 or 5 questions, you get to win an Amazon gift voucher, which will be on its way soon, right? So it's keep your thinking hats on, and let's get the session started. And I'm so looking forward to questions coming up on the chat window. But while the questions come up, let's get started. So Pankaj, quickly, uh, EV electric vehicle is what we've been talking, reading of the most vibrant new spaces in the industry in India. What do you think of the current job landscape in EV, particularly given the it's new space? There's a lot of talent is new, things to be done are new. What's your first thoughts when you think about the current job landscape in EV, Pankaj?
Yeah, thank you, Anshu, for asking this question. I think this is very relevant, and it is on the mind of the everyone, all new or experience or whosoever, that what is going on in the job landscape. And see, to my mind, the EV came suddenly. It was coming. It was written on the wall, but in last 1 year, I would say, or 18 months time, it just skyrocketed, and the future is looking EV and EV and EV. Like, okay, so so the every organization have very ambitious plans to grow into the EV. The skills and the talent is very scarce, is not available, because the whole industry is going through a kind of a reskilling. Okay, and everyone has a very ambitious plan, because no one wants to miss the boat. So almost like all the domains of electric, and let me tell you, this is very different from automotive. It is It is automotive, but there are a lot of domains which are very new for the automotive industry when they are transiting into the EV. So so the all related the job landscape is I'm very optimistic on that. I'm very optimistic, and next 5 years, this job landscape is going to grow. Uh, the talent will get its position. Uh, all the associated domains will also have a lot of scope. Uh, but there will be a lot of reskilling required, to my mind.
Yeah.
Very exciting time. Never before. In my
Mhm.
all past history, I never seen the explosion of a talent requirement the way it is happening in last couple of months or a year or so. So that's my view, Anshuman, on this.
Absolutely. And I keep reading about Mahindra has already launched and is planning to launch five more exciting SUVs in the with the electric space. So that's thoroughly excited. Look forward. Abhimanyu, what are the most hired skills? I mean, from a layman's standpoint, the most hired skills, that's one currently. And what will be the skills for the future as this industry evolves, Abhimanyu?
Sure. So, in fact, Pankaj hit the nail when he says that there's a lot of demand for the electric vehicle professionals, and I will elaborate what are the skills which are required. But at the same time, I will also say that the EV ball game is evolving very fast, and the technology is changing very fast. There are new developments in the area of battery and all the other associated components in the electric vehicle space. The other piece which I would like to reiterate is it took around 50, 60 years for ICE industry, which is your internal combustion engine industry, to mature. In EV, we are trying to do it in another 2 or 3 years. So that entire cycle of those 50, 60 years have to be done in maybe 3 or 4 years. So there's a lot of things which will compress, and hence that there's a lot of requirement in terms of the skills that are pretty unique to EV. Now, EV is nothing but, I will put it very simply for the layman, is nothing but a software. It's a mix of software, so software skills especially related to the vehicle software, which is your model based software application or AUTOSAR architecture. These becomes very important. The other skill which is required is on battery. So the battery management system, is extremely important. Then comes other related skills which are related to software, the cyber security, the data scientist. So knowledge of Python becomes very important. Functional safety becomes very important again, because you see a lot of EV vehicles, and some of the EV vehicles unfortunately met with fire, etc. The functional safety becomes important. How does each systems integrate with each other? System engineering, system integration, HIL testing, all those things are very important, and these are some of the new age skills that have evolved over a period of time, and these are the hot skills which are there in the market. you know uh, Now if I speak about battery, I spoke about the battery management system. Again, the cell modeling, that skill is equally important as to how do the cells are placed so that there are enough voltage and charge which is there in the battery, from the battery. So these are the skills that we are also actively looking at in the prospective candidates who are good in these skills. And even if they are not that technically sound, although we may prefer that they are technically sound, but if they're the right attitude, right mindset, learning ability, so that we have a very fantastic upskilling program. They can come, they can upskill themselves, and if they have the right attitude, they can do well.
Thank you so much, Abhimanyu. Just a leading question, another leading question back to you. Given that, and Pankaj can also can kind of help us with the answer. Given that this is such a new space, and I often hear about this paucity of talent, where do you look for, of course, other industries? Is there a campus thing also that we can hire to? You mentioned about upskilling and training. How, if you crystal gaze the talent strategy next 2 years, how do you think a combination of lateral training, campus, what are your thoughts, Abhimanyu, on that? How does this industry staff itself up?
Sure. So I think it's a combination of multiple things. You don't have a very straightforward answer for it, that we hire only laterals or we hire only from campus. It's a mixed bag. For
Mhm.
example, in Mahindra, we do have our existing ICE employees who have shown a lot of potential. In fact, Pankaj Sonalkar himself is a veteran in the ICE technology area, and he's now heading Electric Vehicle Technology Center. So there's a lot of things in terms of how our senior leaders or managers have, shown that learning agility and have joined the EV bandwagon. So this is one area where we have the internal talent mobility. The other piece is we require talent at various levels. So some of them are lateral hires. We hire from different companies. These companies can be in EV or they can be non-EV. For example, the software. If I speak about the vehicle software, mostly they are companies who are non-EV, but it's a software game. So any IT company which is doing a vehicle related software upgrades, I think that company becomes a good hunting ground for us to look into a talent pipeline. Then
Mhm.
comes then comes your campus placements as well. So off late, the importance of electrical and electronics engineering has gone up because of the EV play.
EV
So we
space, yeah.
go to multiple campuses, the premium campuses, the tier two institutes, and we take a lot of GTs, GATs, and they come in the system, they get trained, and we deploy them in fantastic projects. So it's a mixed bag of internal talent, external talent, and in external talent also we have laterals, we have people from non-EV backgrounds, and we also have GATs or GETs. And some of the skills which are the new age skills, these are industry agnostic. For example, a data scientist. The data scientist can come from any insurance sector or FMCG sector as well. Because again, that skill is industry agnostic. Pankaj, over to you if you want to add on.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhi. Very well covered. I think you're covered very well, and I think it's sure the audience would have got really benefited out of it. So it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, and clearly there's a huge reskilling program happening at all the industries where the internal talent from the ICE based background is uh, is the first cousin of what is required in electric. So the people are picking up very well, and they are going up very well. So that is one big chunk of the reskilling. It is happening across the industry, across the levels. It is actually going across it. The second is the laterals. The laterals, the people who have already gone through one cycle of a launch or one cycle of the functional development for the EV. Those are the key areas where the industry is looking forward to, so that we don't need to redo the everything. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. That's another pull. The third pull, which is very interestingly coming up, is through the campuses. So our experience with the all the fresh and the 1 year 2 year experience, uh, the colleagues is very good. The since it is very close to the software kind of an industry, these boys and girls are able to pick up very fast, and they are able to deliver meaningful outcome very quickly, comparatively quickly as compared to the conventional ice industry, which is a very good news. And so these are the three chunks which are getting it done, and we are bringing it together in the kind of a secret sauce to tide over the wave of high talent requirement for our business goals. But I'm Anshuman here. I'm very excited with the freshers and 1 or 2 years experience youngsters who are coming in, and they are really picking it up fast, and they are really start delivering very quickly.
Sure.
So and which,
One,
which it's a
sorry,
very
please.
good size.
One question that has come up often is that being a new industry, I am a talent. I've known, I'm an engineer, or for that matter, and I know traditional sectors of working, be it the typical software companies, services companies, tech organization, etc. EV is a new space to me. Do I get time to settle down, learn, or do you? I'm sure Mahindra as an organization would give its new hires some time to train, settle down, etc. Right?
Yeah. So Abhi, I take it, or you want to
Yeah,
go?
you can take it and I can add on whatever works.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely, so we are as a company do have a various settling programs for at different levels. When you join at different levels, we have a very good curve wherein you can get enough orientation so that you can catch the road running. You can touch the vehicle when it is running. That's number one. Number two, we have a very enabling system around the people who join. We really take care of them so that they get a decent settling time. Uh, at a middle to senior level, sometimes they really pick up very fast because they come from the domain, they have the relevant experience, and they just start within a few weeks. Uh, Especially for the fresh and the new, we have a very structured training programs, and it's a hybrid kind of a training. We give the on-job training as well. We also believe in bringing the people very fast, on job, because this is what is our unique offering, I would say, that we put people in the water to swim without a aid. But though we guide, but they have to swim. And our experience is that all the youngsters, they like it very much because they pick it up very fast. We guide them, we enable them, but they are actually on the job. Like, it is not like the many global OEMs that where the people just don't see the end. They just don't know that which part of the value chain they belong to. Here it's a very real, and they very quickly they get a chance to work on the real problems and real projects, which are business critical. So I think that makes us very unique. I mean, like, right now, the ad you saw, XV400, there are so many youngsters putting their hands dirty on the actual softwares which are going into the car.
Correct.
So
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 a
so
leading question, Abhimanyu, would be that, of course, you look for technical skills, and here I'd like to pause and emphasize a bit that this is a new sunrise industry for everybody to hear. It's the future. There will always be a lot of exciting things for the people who start and grow that industry. Therefore, every good news for talent to come and join the bandwagon. You'll be given enough opportunities to train, upskill, and be able to settle down. But Abhimanyu, beyond the technical skills, beyond all the technical skills that was look for, what are the five, six things you're looking for on the behavioral aspects? For instance, analytical skills, willingness to learn, question the status. What are those things that you are looking for when you look at middle management talent for the EV business in Mahindra?
Yeah. So I think a few things that we really evaluate the candidates and look is a clear bias for action. I think it's very important that the person has to come and he has to have that bias for action to do things, taking initiative.
Okay.
How good he is on his achievement orientation. The other piece that we are very fond of is his learning agility. Because EV is a new technology. So many
Correct.
people don't know about EVs, but they should have that mindset to learn and unlearn and then learn. And how quickly can they do it? Then comes the agility part in terms of the decision making. In case somebody is slightly senior or coming at a mid level, customer centricity, problem solving, having a growth mindset, having optimism. So I think these are things that we really love in our employees, how collaborative they are, whether they are bold enough. So I think these are few things which I said, we look in the candidate. Apart from this, what Pankaj mentioned, we are clearly an organization which has a bias for action. Now, what happens? What we are also seeing in last 18 months, the average tenure of an employee has shortened. Okay, earlier the average tenure of an employee in any company was around 4 to 5 years, 6 years, that depends. But now we are seeing the average tenure maybe of 2 years, 2.5 years. So what it means is that we would love that the employee comes. Of course, we will give him all the hand holding, training, coaching, but we also want the employee to be, productive and engaged and work on real life projects. And even the employee or the candidate who joins in, he would love not to waste time and be productive as fast as possible. So it's a win-win in both ways, because the average tenure is shortened, and hence we want that till the time the employee is there in the company, let this be his best learning experience for him, and that is what we aim to provide.
Fair,
yeah,
fair, fair.
I think
Yeah,
Abhi, you have covered it very well. I will just like to add one or two more lines to this. Anshu, one of the very important approach we really value in Mahindra is about the passion and the energy. We are a bunch of passionate people, right? And for us, the high energy and passion for something like passion for rise is extremely important. So, and that comes out very clearly out of our, new colleagues who join. And because we give a lot of opportunities to learn, we give a lot of opportunities to perform on a real world situation. So we value the passion. For us, the the fear of failure should not be there. The person should be passionate to really push to the extreme, push the envelope as much as you can. And it's okay, it's okay if you have a challenge or you come back, but it's you will always get a very positive atmosphere around your passion or the energy. No one will say ki, hey, why you did this. Everyone will say, oh, okay, fine, you did it, great. Let's move ahead. So that runs very deep, and that we value. So that's the only point I would perhaps like to add on Abhi, which is you have
No,
covered
no, I
very
think
well.
thanks, Pankaj, for bringing this very important. There is no fear for failure in Mahindra because see, if you try to do a lot of things, you will not succeed in all the things. You will fail. In Mahindra, I can talk about myself. I have completed almost 6 years in Mahindra. There are multiple things that I have not done well and I have failed. But the company never penalized me of not trying enough or penalized me of okay, you have failed. In fact, no. My managers, my bosses, they have encouraged me to take on newer things, newer responsibility, and that is what the mantra is in the Mahindra DNA.
No, that's a great point. Absolutely. Particularly for a new sunrise sector where you expect people to be fearless and more entrepreneurship driven, I think it's phenomenal point. Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Leading question, very leading, and maybe if it sounded repetitive, we can skip it. But
No,
what are the common career mistakes? I mean, when you look at some of the candidates, I mean, what are the common career mistakes that you both will would
uh,
caution young talent against? And Pankaj, we can start with you.
yeah.
This
So
can be a non-easy question also.
no, no. So I will give put my heart out, and it will
Please.
might sound that I am kind of biasing myself for having a longer tenure in the organization. But the one big mistake people do that they hop too fast,
Ah.
and they hop too fast, and they hop for a very short term gains, which normally are mostly the materialistic gain in terms of salary or in terms of something, and things like that. So my learning through my experience is that don't sacrifice your long term goals for your short term gains. And that people do a lot of things, and I think in the electric EV industry, this will be a very critical going forward, because if you have some skill set, you everyone will need you. Absolutely everyone will need you, right? But everyone will not provide you the platform, the vision, the atmosphere to do the bigger things in life. So one has to be very clear that what ultimate goal. I mean, your goal can change 5 years down the line. Every year your goal can change. But if you are trying to jump on a short-term basis, hop in, hop out, temporarily you might feel that your salaries have gone up. You feel like you're doing good. But I think on a long-term basis you might lose out unless and until you are picking the companies based on your vision. So that is the number one mistake people do. Number two mistake a lot of people do is that they they start thinking very soon in their life that they have arrived, and this is something which is a key critical success factor, because the learning has become continuous process till the last day you are on the job. And and every passing year the demand of your reskilling is going to be more and more and more, because technologies are changing. uh, Now the leadership and the technological understanding and technology have got intermingled so much that unless until you have a proper hang of it, you just can't grow. And you need to have a reskilling plan of yourself. So never ever think that learning wise you are arrived and it is now my life. and I will continue like that. So that's a second mistake people do, and the third mistake, Anshu, my feeling is that it is going to be the the market dominated by top talent, skills, and capability. If you have a top talent in yourself, if you have created that kind of a capability which is sellable, there will be 10 companies lining in front of you. But that also brings a huge problem, that if you don't pick up the right platform or the partner to work with, at the 5 years, 10 years down the line, you can be at very different position than what you could have been otherwise. So I think these are the 3 points, perhaps to my mind, it is very critical. The times have completely changed. The form of employments have changed. The atmospheres have changed. But at the same time, the meritocracy is the way to go. There is no number two. There is no
There's
number
no.
two. It's only number one.
It's
So,
heartening to hear
yeah.
career longevity, continuous learning. No matter how much things change, the basics should remain sound, and that's what we are
Absolutely.
gathering. I think. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for those points, Abhimanyu. You want to put up your
Yeah,
thoughts with so many years
yeah.
in the
So
industry.
maybe a couple of them maybe overlaps, but I will still reiterate them. I think mistakes that I have seen among employees or candidates in terms of career, they think career is a linear thing. I think, okay, but career is not linear. Growth is always not vertical. I think what I have seen is horizontal moves. If somebody makes horizontal move, they are the fastest one to get a vertical move. Okay,
Oh,
the more you expose yourself to different situations, problems, areas, the more faster you will grow, and that you can do only when you horizontally move. Okay, so number one mistake is people think career is as linear, whereas career is not linear. It is horizontal and then vertical, then again horizontal, or maybe horizontal, and then vertical. So it may move in different directions. So as long as you are moving, you are contributing, you are learning. Okay, so this is one. The other piece which people mistake, and this is something that Pankaj spoke, but I will still put emphasis on, is people think money gets you your career growth. So money does not get you your career growth. This is my experience in last 20 years. So instead of focusing on money, I think I'm not saying money is not important, but instead of only focusing on money, focus on things that are more fulfilling, which is your experience, the learning, the happiness, the peers in the company, the culture of the company. I think that will be more fulfilling. So think about it. Okay, number three is again on tenure. I personally think that if anyone wants to learn and contribute in any role, it takes at least 2.5 to 3 years for anyone to contribute productively and meaningfully. So, what is happening these days, employees or people in general are looking for instant gratification. Now, in companies, the instant gratification doesn't happen immediately that I join and immediately after a week, 10 days, 1 month, 2 months, I get it. It doesn't happen. You need to contribute, and that contribution happens only when one stays in that company for that time. So I think this is again a pitfall which many people fall. And and the last thing is on the learning agility. Learning never stops. I think I will give an example of Three Idiots. That's a beautiful movie I always love to watch. आप अपना स्किल सेट बढ़ाओ, अपना टेक्निकल नॉलेज बनाओ, कामयाबी अपने आप आएगी. So I think as long as you are not running after these things, you should have that internal, the inherent confidence and the agility to learn and upskill yourself. You will always succeed. The last thing which I would like to focus is, having a T-shaped leadership. When I say T-shaped is, because the industry is so evolving, you should know how things are getting impacted. So you should have a wider exposure, but at the same time develop competence in one or two areas where you are a master. So it's a T-shaped learning which I will put it forward.
Great point, absolutely, and I think nothing more than just going back to the basics. Stick around, build in. One of my bosses used to say earlier that in any organization I work, I should be seen as an institution builder and not somebody who just came and did a job and went away. I think that's a great thing. Going back a little bit, tracking it back to the EV space. Uh, if I'm a young engineer, Abhimanyu, and if I'm a young professional, and I want to what what are the three, four things that I should upskill myself on if I want to join the EV industry tomorrow?
No, for example, if you want to join EV industry, you should be very clear where you're joining, because EV industry is also a pretty vast domain. So you should know about the domain. What are the domains where you can fit in? Okay. So for example, if you are looking at the embedded systems or the software part, then you should upgrade yourself to what are the things which are happening from a software standpoint. For example, earlier we had manual based development, now we are going for model based development. So how quickly can you learn the tricks of the game? I think again it's going back on your learning agility. So if I am a professional who wants to make big in the EV, I should know my area of interest. And not only knowing the area of interest, I should do something on that interest. For example, I have seen many people, they have the area of interest but they do nothing on those interest areas. So for example, there are many cross functional platforms where you can develop that knowledge or technical skills and upgrade yourself, and some of these courses are free of cost. Can we do this? Because what happens is when you go for any meeting, in any company, they will ask you questions on your technical expertise. They don't want you to be seen as a okay, if you're master, well, that's great, but even if you, but you should have some basic knowledge or traits about it and show the potential that yes, you have come up with some kind of a homework. So you should know where you can exactly fit in various domains in the EV industry. And you can do this by showing interest as well as reading about the things which are required in that particular domain.
In that domain, right? Before I take just one question which is coming from the audience, Pankaj, very quickly, I retrained myself. I joined this new sunrise industry, which is electric vehicles. Tomorrow, maybe autonomous vehicles also. So excited. How does growth happen for me? What kind of growth opportunities am I looking forward to, Pankaj?
Yeah, so I think Abhi has sort of alluded to the horizontal development and things like that. So there are multiple things. You can go up into same domain. You can go horizontally and go up on the kind of a full platform. So normally in this space, there are very distinct domains also, and there are overlapping domains also. And and the skill set, Anshu, is normally coming out of the tools. That there are very different tools. That how do you get skill to the tools? How do you get skill to the interface of the hardware and software, like embedded and software Abhi alluded to, and then how does it comes into the reality? So very distinct path. Number one, if you are a kind of a guy who wants to go into detail into one kind of a domain, then there's a lot of scope to grow into that domain, because the depth of the tools, the automation, the data analytics in that, the huge scope. If you are a kind of a guy who enjoys doing the overall system design, so there's a full-fledged system engineering domain, and so which is across the complete domain. So you will not go into detail into one domain, but you will get a fairly good hang of how the one function talks to the another function, and how you finally deliver the function to the whole
Definitely.
week. So both ways, you can grow in the company.
In that. Phenomenal. I'm sure the opportunities are phenomenal, such a fast growing. Abhimanyu, there's a question from the audience. How do you approach and apply at Mahindra Electric? And after that, I have another question. So, how do I approach and apply at Mahindra Electric?
Sure. So I think there are multiple openings that keep coming in the electric domain in Mahindra, and all these openings are actually opened in LinkedIn as well. So if you are fairly active in LinkedIn, you will look at the openings. It's fairly well advertised, and there's an email ID which is mentioned. You can send your resume on those email IDs. The other way is these openings are also there in the Mahindra careers page. So I think you can go to the Mahindra career page, log in, and complete the process to apply for the roles. So I think these are two ways in which you can apply. Otherwise, I think you can mention your email ID or phone number here in the chat box, and we can get in touch with you.
Okay. And a question for Pankaj in terms of there's a question from the audience. I'm not sure I'm getting this right. Is there a possibility for wireless cars, or does the question mean autonomous cars? I don't know, but is there something called wireless cars also?
So I will interpret in two ways. Number one is, of course, I also thought that wireless means autonomous. So I
Yeah.
think autonomous car in its totality in India will take some time, but the some part of the autonomous, there are different levels of the autonomous. Like for example, we already have a lot of features in our product like XUV 700 and Scorpio that you can tag your vehicle to the vehicle which is going in the front. So the automatically the software will take care of the distance between the two vehicles and it will keep following the front vehicle. So those kind of things are already there, like lane changing. If you're going on a highway, the moment you do the lane changing, you get a pulse on your steering that your vehicle is drifting and it is changing the lane. So if it is not intentional, then we can correct it. So those kind of a thing, like a some part of a park assistance, some kind of a vehicle parking, they will start coming in India very soon, and many of these have already come. The full autonomous vehicle is still a distance in India. The very recently it is launched in the US the few months back on a commercial level as a taxi. But it will take some more time in India. It is still quite challenging to have a that kind of a vehicle right now in India. The another wireless connotation could be that wireless charging. Yes, that will come faster in India. That where you don't need to park your vehicle and put a connector. You just go on a platform and your vehicle gets charged wirelessly. So that perhaps a good possibility.
Possibly. And what's the? I know there are a lot of questions around in terms of usage of EV. That if I have to charge a single charge, the car typically will run for how much distance? It's about 3 to 400 kilometers in one go, right?
Correct, correct. Right now, it also depends on how you drive it, and it also depends on see we will have two three kind of settings. If it is a fearless setting, so it will accelerate fast. So then obviously you'll get a very low. But the numbers are what you're talking about.
Abhimanyu, anything further? Because you did explain that how does a person apply, but how's the typical selection process like in Mahindra EV? Is it a combination of tests and interviews? How does that happen for our audiences to understand?
Yeah, so I think the selection process is fairly, I will say, simple. We have some kind of a written test which is there, which is on aptitude, and once you clear that aptitude test, and this is nothing but a simple logical test where we see whether the basic things in terms of analyzing the workflow or logic is there or not. And then post that we have direct interviews. They are at the most two levels of two rounds of interview. One is the technical round with the immediate hiring manager, and the other one is technical slash behavioral round with the hiring manager and the HR. And if you are through, then you are through. So I think this is how it is. Of course, there is a shortlisting of CVs done initially basis the job requirement, the job specification. So there are shortlisting of CVs, then there's a aptitude test, and there are two levels of interview. And sometimes there's only one round of interview because all the HR managers and the hiring managers are together in that one round of interview. So we have a very simple process of selection in Mahindra.
Sure. And what kind of internship opportunities can talent look for in Mahindra if one were to look at internships and then graduate into a career, Abhimanyu or Pankaj?
Yeah, so we do have various kinds of internships. So one is you have the internships where we take people from engineering institutes or management graduates who are pursuing their MBA. So these are the internships which is around 2 months or 3 months depending on the time. You may call it a summer internship or a winter internship. And then there are some internships where it can be a slightly prolonged internship of 4 to 6 months, where as part of the engineering institute or any institute for the matter, the person has to be on the floor or working on a particular project. So we encourage that as well. But then what happens is there are some internships which are paid internships and some internships which are free
I
internships
think
where
Abhimanyu
candidates want experience. where a candidate wants to experience the work which is happening in the company, and so those internships are sometimes not paid internships, but again at that point of time money is not important, but what is important is the kind of exposure that the candidate is getting. So we are open for both.
Okay. I think there's an audience question, Pankaj, for you. What are the careers in EV in the supply chain, integrated supply chain space? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. So supply chain, it's fairly similar to the automotive supply chain, lots of opportunities, but it needs more robust, it needs more agile, because there's a lot of uncertainty into the domain, and it's a if you see the supply chain domain wise, you need to go more automation. You need to do more data centric, because everything is through the either RFIDs or things like that. It's a global supply chain because the parts will come all across the globe. So you should be very acquainted with how the global supply chain works. And as everyone knows, supply chain is a key backbone of any industry. So is for the EV. So good opportunities, and good modern practices being used right from the day one, because all the learnings from automotive and any other related industry are flowed in.
Last question, and that's from I was thinking, and if, unless there are more questions come up from the audiences, a lot of the careers in EV are technical, of course, when engineers and technology folks get hired because the product is the nature of the product. A lot of would there be there will be fair degree of opportunity for non-technical folks also in terms of either sales or marketing jobs, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's ample opportunity for the right thinkers in those spaces also, Abhimanyu, right? I mean, what kind of non-technical opportunities exist, or does every EV organization person has to be a technical person?
No, it's not like that. So there will always be enabling functions which are there in any organization. So these enabling functions are so-called non-technical in the EV domain, but still they are technical enough. For example, if I'm talking about the HR person, the HR person is, in some sense, is a non-technical from an EV standpoint, but still he should have a technical knowledge of HR. Then you have finance, IT. So these are the enabling functions which will always be there in any organization. The other pieces which are coming up big time is, as Pankaj said, roles in supply chain, roles in sales, customer care, marketing. So I think in EV there will be some differentiation in those roles as well, because from a sales standpoint or from a customer service standpoint, the person still needs to know what happens in the battery or what happens to the range. So some of these aspects will still needs to be understood by the salesperson or the customer care functions. But then these will be non-technical because they are not coming in the design and development stage of a EV, but they are more generic in nature. So those functions will still be there as it's there in any other company.
Got it. Absolutely. So audiences, in case there are members who are interested in a sales career or a marketing career, there are enough opportunities as long as you are able to understand an industry that is growing, that has technology at its cusp, and is a fast evolving industry. So I think that's enough. Any more questions on from the audiences, or we can last words from you, Pankaj and Abhimanyu, and we can wrap up. Key messages for the talent to take away from this industry, from the leaders of this industry, Pankaj and Abhimanyu?
We go first.
Okay, so I think I'm very excited, and thanks the tag team Anshuman and Ilim for granting us this opportunity to present our views on careers in electric vehicles. My last message is, and this has nothing to do with EV or non-EV. It's something this where anyone is trying to build a career. Think of it is careers are like test matches. Think of it like a test match, not like a T20. Okay, it's like a marathon and not like a sprint. So I
Mhm.
think that is what my message is.
Slow and steady.
Yeah, slow and steady.
Slow, not in that term.
No, slow
Really
and
be
not in that term,
agile and
but
steady.
I'm saying you need to give it a longevity. It's not that in
Agility and
every ball you
steadiness.
need to hit six, every ball you need
Correct.
to hit the ball out of the park. No, because
Absolutely.
a career is typically a 35 years career. So you need to have that kind of a appetite in which you uh, in which you have a decent tenure in any organization to learn and contribute, which we mentioned, and plan your career like a test match, as a captain plans for a test innings, and it's a first innings and second innings, so okay, accordingly you need to plan your career like that.
Got it. Thank you so much. Pankaj, over to you.
Good. Yeah, so I think very well covered, Abhi. So I would say the final words, if someone has to pick up few of the things from my side. So let me divide it between the two domains, and why I'm telling you, because I'm a mechanical engineer, and there would be a lot of mechanical engineer or a non-electric electronics engineers on the call. So first for them, so for them, uh, please try to learn the embedded, the software, those domains, the electronics. They are not difficult, they are different. But if you want to be relevant in the future, you learn it today or maybe yesterday. So you need to do that. The people who are fortunately in this domain, uh, you need to enhance your capability. As Abhimanyu said, in the T mind, you might have to have a double T or a triple T. That is also required for all the other guys also. Develop one or two domains very strong, but have an understanding of across the domains, so that you are not unknown to the nearby domain, so that your ability to see through will improve, but you must be absolutely good in one or two domains. That's the number one. Number two. Number three is that, as I touch upon that, you should be like a sponge. You have to learn every day. The Steve Jobs have very nicely said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So this is absolutely important, because future belongs to you. Future belongs to the talent. Future doesn't belong to industry. If you are talented, the industry will come behind you. We will come behind you, but you have to be the number one. You have to be on the meritocracy, not on the mediocrity. And that doesn't come easy. That comes with the sustained regular efforts. So you have to be mindful of it. You have to be mindful of it, that what is that you are going to develop a domain. You have to work every day on that, and keep absorbing like a sponge. These are the few things. The future is absolutely bright. India is rocking. We are breaking all the records of the development cycles, the technology. We are very bullish. We are absolutely bullish. The Mahindra is absolutely bullish on technology, on products, and our cycle times are way far below the industry globally. And you will see that kind of a feel and the passion in any of the people of our team. So very exciting time, guys. Don't miss this opportunity. To be very blunt, don't be lazy.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's very aptly put up. And thank you again, Pankaj and Abhimanyu. Audiences, if there are no further questions, wrap up. But very quickly, if there are for any further questions or relevant chats on this, do keep tuned into the pages in the coming days, and we'll keep answering the questions there also. So let the questions keep flowing on the LinkedIn page, and we'll keep this community live and active. With that, I think it's a wrap from our side. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Pankaj and Abhimanyu, for joining us today and sharing your views. Thanks to all our audiences for joining us. I'm super excited uh, uh, for the future of this industry, and also for the lucky five who will be winning our vouchers. So keep yourself visible and active on the LinkedIn page that is there, so that questions and other news can be keep we can keep you informed about that. This is just the beginning, friends, and we have many exciting sessions to follow in the weeks ahead, right from a more session on mobility to gender diversity to the upsurge in the high make in India hiring, etc. How manufacturing getting a focus in India. So many more sessions ahead. Please do stay tuned to us. For any details, get in touch with us, and you can write us to us at careercircles@tag.in. Thank you so much, everyone, again. Thank you so much again, Pankaj, for taking time out. Thank you,
Okay.
Abhimanyu, for gracing us with your presence. Have a good weekend. And this is Anshuman, Pankaj, and Abhimanyu signing off. Thank you, everyone, again.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Abhi.
Thank you.